What's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. So we got a couple of things to talk about, including the return of Nuketown in Black Ops 7. And I'm not gonna lie, compared to some of the other Nuketown variants we've seen, this is easily the best one, and I'll explain why later in the video, as well as the showcasing of it. Now, a couple of things just to know. First off, Call of Duty Next has officially wrapped. It was around 4 hours long. I've been summarizing the most important things with uploads for you guys, so that way you don't have to waste 4 hours watching the entire thing. But if there's anything in particular you guys want more information on, comment it down below and I'll make a video to cover it for you guys if I have not already. Now, before we talk about some of the multiplayer maps and things like that in specific, there is something currently going on you need to know about. So first off, viewership rewards for the beta. I know many of you guys wanted to watch an hour to get yourself a beta code. That is supposed to be the reward. I've seen many comments, people saying they haven't been rewarded this, and they did pin it, and they said that there is currently an error to where there's a delay in terms of giving you the rewards. I would recommend just checking back on your Twitch every few hours, because they did start rolling these rewards out from when I initially first saw comments of people saying that they didn't get these rewards or they didn't get these items. Just check your notifications over on Twitch, go down to the drops area and see if you have access to it, because that's when it's going to start refreshing and updating and then giving you these rewards. So as long as you've watched that 1 hour, you should be good and you will get them at some point. But I just wanted to clarify that and let you know that if you're having an issue, you're not the only one with this problem, and it's actually a technical issue on their end. But anyways, let's go ahead and talk about the Black Ops 7 map. So for the first time ever, and according to Treyarch, they're going to release the most amount of maps in a short period of time that they've ever done in Call of Duty history. And it doesn't just include the launch maps that you may have already seen, but we're talking Season 1 maps and the return of Nuketown. So the first set of maps that we have are going to be the beta maps. These are the ones you're going to be able to access when the beta officially starts. So you have Blackheart, you have Toshin, you have the Forge, Exposure, Cortex, and Imprint. They also did a flyover showcasing the different POI and what these locations look like. And then there's also the mission maps. These are Mission Tide and Mission Edge, which are available in the big mode, so 20v20, and that's going to be available, which is Skirmish. Now, after that, there's also going to be the launch maps that are available, which is the ones that are blurred out. They pretty much unblur them and then showcase the other ones. So these are not ones that you're really going to have access to throughout the beta unless they surprise us. So for example, Express, Raid, Hijack, these remastered maps, you're going to have to wait until November 14th for. And then there's also the other ones that are brand new. Now, the thing about this is they followed up with some crazy information. They said that for the first time ever between Black Ops 6's launch and the end of Season 1, we're dropping 7 additional 6v6 maps, plus an all-new round-based zombies map and 2 zombie survival maps. It's the biggest first season in our history. And so the fact is, there's a lot of maps coming in. One of them actually launches shortly after the release of Black Ops 7, so a couple weeks in. Usually I think it's like 3 weeks until we jump into a season, so this one will be releasing a week after, or at least 2 weeks, and that is going to be the return of Nuketown. So we did get a showcasing of it here, and it actually looks like the all original BO2 version of Nuketown. To me, it looks much better than the version that we got in Black Ops 6, but there's 2 different images that they show. So the first one is Nuketown 2025 showcasing the sign. The map looks similar. There is some quality and graphic changes. It looks a little bit better. And then there's also the other image that showcases the other side. Here's where you start seeing a little bit of the differences. So not everything is exactly the same, but this is more of a remaster. And they say, yes, 2025, even though the story takes place in 2035. But because I guess the year right now is 2025, they decided to do this. Maybe in the future they release a version called 2035. Who knows what they have planned for that, but because they're dropping this variation of it, and this will be available before the Season 1 update goes live, that's what I just wanted to discuss and talk to you guys about, because seeing Nuketown come back is no surprise, but the fact is, I didn't think they were going to reveal it as early as they did. Now, we may end up getting some gameplay footage and teasers and things like that closer to the launch, but this map doesn't release for quite a while, so you're gonna have to wait until after BO7 comes out, and that's when it's gonna be playable, and we'll maybe get a little bit more footage, because right now I checked COD Next, I watched the whole thing, and they've only shown these 2 images, so that's the only thing that's been revealed so far. Now, the next thing that I want to talk about, this is a new feature coming into Call of Duty known as the reward feed menu. So it says, never lose track of your rewards again. View and equip your latest unlocks all in one place with the all-new reward feed system in Black Ops 7. So this is at the very top. It's basically like a lock and unlock sign, and then once you click on that, it pulls up an entire list of different items that you have unlocked or you're about to unlock, and then when and how you unlock these items. I'm thinking maybe event rewards are also going to be available in this, so that way if there's something that you ended up getting and you don't even realize that you got it, it'll let you know that you've recently unlocked an item, and you can automatically put it on through this menu. So I feel like it may be a little bit helpful here, just in terms of showcasing and having things tracked for you in a proper way, so you don't lose track of anything. But that's one of the features, and then some other things where we did get some gameplay footage of multiplayer, just a little bit more being shown here in terms of footage from Modern Warzone. Charlie and Tell, credit to those guys. But the last thing I want to talk about here while you watch this gameplay is the reviews that players have left, the ones that actually got to play over at COD Next, and also the ones that saw the footage. So the first thing is, a lot of people were very happy with multiplayer. Most people were rating it an 8 to a 9 out of 10 in terms of the way the game feels, the way that the movement is, how fluid everything goes, the registration of bullets hitting, aim assist, stuff like that. People were happy with it. Obviously, they didn't get to test out skill-based matchmaking because they're all playing together over at Call of Duty Next. So the lobbies do have some pros in there, but also some players who are casual and experienced Call of Duty players. So obviously they couldn't see what skill-based matchmaking is going to be. Some people were saying that the only reason they rated it 8 out of 10 is because the game was good, but skill-based matchmaking is probably going to ruin it. Now, another thing is the Warzone side of things. So this is where it gets a little bit questionable, because a lot of people were not happy at all with the content that is being added for Warzone. So the first thing is, they were forced to pretty much play Verdansk. That's going to continue being the big map. The only thing that they've updated is 2 different POIs. I'm going to have a separate video talking about this, but overall, apparently wall jumping is not even going to be a feature in Warzone. So that's not something they've implemented. Instead, they did something called rolling. So when you jump from a high spot, you can roll, and that's the only new feature, and it's not really all that useful. They didn't do much for Warzone. Some people were saying that it's the same as like a seasonal update, so like nothing too crazy. The Warzone map, people weren't really too happy about it. They said the size was massive, and just the way that it wasn't giving that Warzone vibe, and obviously because a lot of those POIs were coming in from zombies. So just to show you guys some screenshots from people in the reviews that they were leaving that were there at Call of Duty Next and got to see the footage and play it themselves, they weren't very happy with the side of Warzone. So I'm hoping that maybe Call of Duty sees and hears their feedback and adjusts that accordingly. But the good news is Warzone is going to receive massive updates later on. So that's going to be spring of 2026, which is why people aren't happy, because the launch content isn't really all there, but it does get better later on. And I'll have another video going and talking about this in more detail. Let me know if you guys want to see a video dedicated to Warzone. But that is pretty much all that I got for you guys here in this video. What are your thoughts and opinions on Call of Duty Next? Did you like what you saw? And is this a game you plan on playing and purchasing? But that's it for this video. Thank you guys for tuning in, and hopefully I'll be seeing you guys again. Peace.